Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here, and we're going to continue with our Hearts of Iron 3 playthrough, and we're playing through as the United States. Now, I don't know if the begin Operation Torch. No, we're not ready for that. Okay, so we're going to ignore those. Now, just to update you on the situation, because I think primarily Britain was not making enough. They are starting to make some convoys and heavy submarine or semi losses to submarines. They could not supply North Africa enough. They very well may have been running supply through the Mediterranean. I'm not sure. So we are seeing a general British collapse in the Mediterranean, but we're now seeing a bit of a resurgence in the East Africa area. Okay, thanks, Plastic Gangster. Thanks for hanging out with me. Really do appreciate it. Great input here. Okay, so we're doing that, and like I've said, the U.S. I am not prepared for this war as I should have been. We are getting more and more industry online, as you can see here. I guess no more is really scheduled right now. Just that and that. Okay, so and right now we are sort of in an emergency situation. Do I invest more in industry? And we need more industry, but and we definitely do need more in industry. Well, we've had a very big hit to destroyers, and so many of our fleets are running with little or no destroyers, which means they're significantly weaker, and they take a long time to build, so I don't really want to stop production on these. The CVE will help. Okay, that will move to the bottom. We won't cancel that. We need some more divisions to help out in places like Sub-Saharan Africa. We are giving Lend-Lease 42 to Britain, so that is helping them. We can look here under intelligence. What is it? Okay, here, United Kingdom, and we can see them. Well, currently they're only producing one strain of Envoy, at least according to our intelligence. Well, thought they were producing 2 or 3 strains right now. I don't know what we can do about that. So, but we need to do that. We are still facing off with the Japanese. These motor torpedo boats will be a quick build once we get them into production, or through here. So yeah, we need to do a lot of this stuff. I know this isn't maybe the best position we should be in, but that's where we are now. I think combat technologies are what we should be looking at here. We are in 43. I know that's fairly late to be in such a bad spot. And those that haven't watched everything, this is the first time I've played as America. I thought we were going to get more boosts to America's industry through events than we did. I really thought we were. So we have, okay, we've got a lot of carrier air groups here. We needed those, and we needed the flying boat and bomber squadrons. All right. So let's deploy some of these here. What I want to do is we're going to stick let's stick this USMC unit there and attach to it a bomber wing. We'll just put in a generic commander, naval bomber. Now, okay, they have 12 units there. Well, let's look at the naval map. trying to invade down into here as well. Well, we're still seeing convoys sunk, and I think these are British, but I'm not sure, around this area. So let's come back to standard. No, I wanted you to fly over there. So, okay, we'll get those over to there and organize up. Try to reduce the U-boat menace. And I like to mix my flying boats and attack aircraft. Okay, so we have. Nope, they're not there anymore. Did they come over to here? Nope, they may be out at sea. Could be. Nope. They're full up. Now, so that means we have. I think we're doing okay on Pacific for carrier operations. So let's deploy you here. Ticonderoga and that. Here. Okay, so now we have carrier air groups for them. Part of what I wanted to do is, after having my carrier air groups destroyed earlier on and putting my aircraft carriers out of operation, I didn't want that to continue, so I built a lot for replacements. Now, we've been seeing a very good operations in and around the Philippines with our motor torpedo boats, so we're going to continue some of that. Very effective. Okay, that'll get them. We'll do a second. So we have that. Tactical bombers. We'll leave those in there. Submarines. Okay. Well, we've been taking some losses in there. I don't know how much we're gonna. Well, we'll see what we can do. Let's put them out here into the Atlantic, because we have a fair amount in the Pacific. We're going to let that continue, let these get organized up. Oh, that's probably what we're going to do for deploying there. So, okay, let's let the clock go and see if we can continue our battle and successfully get ashore here. Looks like we might be able to do it. Oh, okay, pause. We're now a continental military power. Good. Infantry radio communications advance. Electronic. 44 maybe. And aviation navigation rate. That other one there. Now we have a few more. Let's come over to look and see what we should be doing here. Ah, yes, please. I didn't even know about these because I'm not used to playing America. Okay, the M1 Garand. I guess we should have had that much earlier. And the P-51 Mustang. And we'll take those two technologies and move them to the top because I want them done as fast as possible. These are some new stuff here for the game. Okay, did not know. Okay, Beam Slam, thank you for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. You have a good evening, I believe it is over there for you, or a good day or whatever, but yeah. And I also want to take a look at what we're doing over here because we're running two invasions at once here. Get ashore. Okay, it looks like we're about ready. They actually, I think, snuck in, if I remember correctly, a force past our ships. Becoming coordination. Interrupting the flow of the show. Okay, yeah, we'll let that continue to 43. Okay, yes. So we've taken out that. They're down to this one group of Japanese Marines, and I think we'll take that. Unlike the other episode here where I badly sent in one force unescorted, they got slaughtered. We've got carriers, battleships, and the invasion force. So that is well protected and operating. Now here, about ready to get rid of one division. Okay, okay, we got that. Now we can just keep going and get this last one down here. Soviets are not our current enemies, at least. I don't think so. Ah, the British look like they're reinforcing Gibraltar. What it looks like they're doing. Or these guys, Mexico is invading or whatever. Not smart. And come on, go for like limited. Because right now we're still at peace with Vichy France, so we just have this limited amount of forces here. They have to send in naval forces or use naval landings. Oh, no, they're landing over here. Oh, God. Well, this is a really aggressive invasion policies here. Looks like by, I don't know for sure. Okay, these are actually Mexico. Where these are Mexico in the service of Britain, it looks like. They've given some of the forces over. Money for fuel? No, we got plenty of fuel. Money for fuel? No, and it is more. Oh, metal. They want metal. Yes, you can have metal. You've got extra metal. You can have metal. Okay. We lost one of our last submarines out here in the Eastern Mediterranean. Battle of Cape Wrath. Wow. Okay. Up here, we took out 4 auxiliaries and a sub with our battleship group. We're going to move it back into port here because I want to get the Arkansas and the San Francisco cruisers a bit better in shape. Okay, we've won the Battle of Wake Island. Okay, you can go home. Yep, good. We've got our forces here ashore. So now we've retaken our islands, both of them, Wake and Midway, that we lost. We've sunk a lot of the Japanese fleet. You will rebase you to here. Okay, Battle of Mindanao out here. These guys, like I say, have been doing really good service. Landing craft flotillas, which increases our range of operations and other good things. Let's continue that. There. No. Barrier group, tag duty, resting, ground attack. Okay, there still should be doing ground attacks. Export of tungsten. Soviet Union. Yeah, let's do this. Hope they put another unit back into the front line, though it's not in very good shape. Naval strike tactics. Yeah, I just need a much bigger army here. Long until we get more army done. Okay, that's in July. We're just in March. Okay, April. We'll get 3 semi-motorized divisions. That'll be coming fairly soon. How are we doing down here? Okay, okay, our nation is the only one attacking here, so let's stop this. Yes. And we can see down here, they're already getting supply problems. I don't think it's from lack of ports or too many forces. I think it just Britain doesn't have the supply capabilities. Okay, Huff advances. There we go. Oh, we could do small warfare. Night combat training increased to 3. Yes, I know night combat, what it is. It's fighting at night, but that air units or thing that I did. Well, that's probably ships. Is that ships? No. I like to learn where these are and what we're doing and I don't know. We're no longer researching it, whatever it was. Looks like we're gonna get. Oh, here that good one for 43. Yeah, France, you can have energy. And okay, dual purpose guns. That is one of these. Here we are. Yeah, stop that. Hello, crash landing. Well, this is Hearts of Iron 3. We sort of done with the talk, and I have got to change the stream name in many places to do that. Good to see you here. And we're playing World War II game. Just we had been doing. If you want to see the talking about Ukraine and Taiwan, you can go back to the earlier part of this VOD if you want. But good to have you here. Hopefully you hit that follow button. Okay, heavy anti-aircraft gun, small ship we can do. And no, but we will. My machine also advanced. That's way too far into the future to keep researching. You can still, if you see something, you can ask a question about what we talked about. I went over earlier. I'll happily try to answer it. I'm live streaming to multiple places, including YouTube and Twitches. I know what you're on, but I gotta change too many things to update everything. Hello, Miko. Wilco, how you doing? Pan out and let me see. Yes, I certainly can. Okay, we would give them money for fuel. No. Okay, so we can see here Germany is actually being pushed back. They had Crimea, but they're holding up here in the north reasonably well, but actually actively being pushed back down here. Britain's merchant marine has collapsed basically, so they could not send supplies or enough supplies to keep these guys supplied. The few I know this partially because the American units that are down here are waiting for supplies because they need to be supplied through Britain to British ports. So Italy is doing well there. We are holding out in the Philippines here. We see Britain pushing back the Japanese here in Burma. Some island battles here. We've recently taken Wake Island. I think that sort of covers, the idea of what's going on here. Give you a big picture. We're trying to get ashore here. Spain is actively part of the Axis, and we're trying to land here. Unfortunately, they did get one of these divisions back in here, but love to get ashore here. This may be a failed invasion. Britain keeps trying to expand out of Gibraltar and keeps getting hammered. Yep, World War going on for sure. Okay, looks in effect. Yes, you can have metal Cuba a little bit, sure. Resources we don't have a current problem with. Industrial capacity and numbers of units and things like that. That's what we have a problem. Okay, and right now these guys are patrol searching here. Let's see. We have some. No. Okay. Okay, we got a bunch of motor torpedo boats that have. You come out to here. These guys have been doing very effectively here. Maybe to Guam, which they've never attacked, but we can get some motor torpedo boats operating out of Guam as well. And how are our units here? Okay, are these guys operating? Yeah, they're naval striking. These guys are well enough organized up. Let's go to the air map here. There. And you guys come over here to, see, looking at the naval map mode, we are losing some ships to German submarines, and Britain probably is some of these. Okay, well, we could maybe, let's have any, okay, these guys are. Okay, let's leave you at port so you continue to there. Do no, not controlling. Let's do passive. Let's see if that will work to get you out to sea. Because there's two ways to help Britain with its lack of transports. One, which we are already doing, is giving them some lend-lease aid of 43 currently. And the other thing, of course, is to reduce their losses. Battle commander recognition, that is down here. Yeah, this now. The lack of supplies is the problem. We're losing our organization because there's not enough supplies coming in. That's what I'm sort of hoping with some of these invasions. There'll be an American port and I can send in supplies that way. Heavy bomber prototypes advanced. Very nice. Okay. Not that these aren't useful to do, but maybe we well, let's do the things that we need to do. Okay. First. Don't think we might be able to make it ashore, but we're going to be super weak if we do. Okay. No, Canada, you don't need my tungsten. Mountain HQs have advanced. 42, yeah, because it's reducing the time between attacks. Once if we ever get to where we can operate, then we can. Hello, flexible 641. Well, what we can't do is with this game is send a convoy to an allied port. So I cannot have a convoy coming from America to this port to send supplies. So that is not something I can do. I did, and we do have some of our ships sitting here eating supplies from Saudi Arabia, which the U.S. is then sort of making up. But that's specifically why, well, and they're even low on supplies there, so maybe I should. I don't know if I should get these guys out or not. Because maybe I should use these to get supplies into, or to get my troops into Saudi Arabia to keep that from collapsing. So yeah, I can't take over for British uses. I tried to invade straight into this territory. Unfortunately, Italy was too strong, so that would have been American conquest instead of British, and then I could have supplied it that way. So it's more of a it's hard coded in, yeah. And again, we'll take a look here. Okay, now they're building 2 lines of convoys to replace. That's Britain's strongest need, is those convoys. If they had convoys, they'd be okay, but they don't. Azores, okay. And Australia wants to build another submarine. Sure, go ahead. Oh. Pause. Bunch of stuff happening first of the month. Yes. Lots of stuff. But Battle of Mindanao Sea. CV, a major carrier, was just lost by Japan to my motor torpedo boats. Wow. That's probably a bit overpowered for a motor torpedo boat if this was entirely now if it was an entirely unescorted carrier, like if Japan just like, oh yeah, we were sending the carrier from point A to point B, and yeah, we're sending it through the Mindanao Sea. Yeah, they could take that. Maybe Japan just did that. So yeah, okay, so they lost a. Don't know about the so it seems like a made up name. Japan has lost some other ships, I think, from earlier battles we had. Industrial zone has advanced. Yeah, we'll let that continue because we want to push forward with more IC efficiency. Okay, formation of the 7th Fleet. Yeah, I think this is just a on map HQ. Formation of the Air Transport Command ATC, carrying men and material from one side of the globe to the next. Yes, we have that. We'll do that. Golden Lion, President, shall we form the headquarters? Yeah, for the infantry division, sure. Armored Raiders division, yeah, okay. Our industry asks for money. Why? I don't know, but okay. New battle commander has entered the field. All right, good. Heavy anti-tank upgrade to our support units. Very good. Wake Island is ours. We have to retake Wake. Yes, I do know that. And we lose some descent and gain a teeny bit of national unity. Basically, one effectively moves us up 1%. Merchant Marine subsidies. Ooh, 21,000. Okay. I guess we have that, but that took a big dent in operation here. Okay, well. Yes, we could say America's. Let's. Landing craft. These guys. What do we do about this? Okay, I think we're going to cancel this invasion here. So let's cancel the invasion order. Stop attacking. Stop attacking. Stop attacking. Yes, major defeat. I know. Okay, you guys. Back to here. We're going to add 2 more carriers with air groups. Yep, I would give that whoever what the whole yeah, Congressional Medal of Honor for a motor torpedo boat taking out a carrier. That's for sure. They get a Congressional Medal of Honor. We're going to send you out to the Pacific. You're a long range sub. Honolulu. Go all the way around there. Now these guys here. These guys we're going to send. Oh, let's promote him up. Let's send him to England. Well, all the invasions of the European theater of operation happened without the United States Marines, as a soldier was telling me yesterday, I believe it was. So yeah, you know, D-Day and all that. No United States Marines were involved. So yeah, and some of the major landings in the Pacific had like Army divisions as part of the initial landing force, not just later on. Okay, they're operating there. What you guys are going to do is you're going to come over here and you're going to patrol. So that way you're out here looking around for incoming thing. Battle of Manners Street. Battle of Manners Street refers to a riot involving American and New Zealand servicemen. I wish Strong Armor was here. Civilians and civilians outside the American Service Club in Manners Street, Wellington, New Zealand in 1943. The club was a social center open to all military personnel. In 1942 to 44, there were anywhere between 15,000 and 45,000 American servicemen stationed in New Zealand. Most camped around major urban centers of the country. Many of the American servicemen were coming from major American urban centers to New Zealand, which in 1943 was an isolated country with only 1.6 million inhabitants, or about the population of Detroit, Michigan, at least at the time. I think it may have gone down since then, but some of the servicemen from the American South objected to Maori soldiers using the club. And on the 3rd of April 1943 began stopping Maori soldiers from entering. Many New Zealander soldiers were in the area, both Caucasian and Maori, combined in opposition. The standoff escalated, and when the Americans took off their belts to attack those who wanted to let the Maoris in, the fight broke out, and at one point at least 1,000 men were involved in subsequent fracas, which was broken up by civil and military police. The major brawl lasted from 6 to 8 p.m., with some brawls lasting perhaps another 2 hours. Dozens of people were injured. News of the riot was censored at the time, hence much of the mythology about the event, including the claim that 2 Americans were killed. So I guess that is a myth that there was any Americans killed. Okay, so yeah, Southern Americans were racist back then, and they objected, and it got out of hand. I didn't know. I knew about some of the battles in Australia. I didn't know about the okay, we get a light aircraft factory in Grand Rapids. In New Zealand, metals invading urban area. Yeah, invading. True enough. They were all tied up in the Pacific. Yes, and the many landings in the Pacific as well. Yes, very correct. I just noticed that it says are just chatting, not playing. Yeah, hi flexible. I to change everything, I got to change it in 4 locations, and I don't really want to do that right now. Sorry, so it's a little wrong, and we are playing Boy 4, but we're also chatting too. So you want to chat, even about the earlier topics of Ukraine and Taiwan? I'm still open to that. Okay, so Marine for HQs and we're going to continue this just because the main reason we're continuing this here is it reduces time between attacks. Because if I ever get everything organized up and really able to go on the offensive, that will be really useful. Yes, you can have metal. So we're waiting for, okay, these guys, well, I don't know. Do we start trying to take back some Japanese islands? Like, what is this? Minami Torishima. This looks like a picture of Iwo Jima there, but yep. Okay, well, if you want to, flexible, if you want to see it, just go back to the beginning of the VOD, and you can watch it either on, on Twitch or on my YouTube channel, wherever you want to. Go back to it, and then you can see we did about an hour talk on Ukraine alone. So if you're interested in that, you can just go back to that part of it. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it's all there. And if you see something there you want to ask a question on, I'll be happy to try to answer it. I don't have like special information, but I am a historian and looking at it through a historical lens as well. Okay, so you guys are here. That's our invasion force. Now, you've got 2 landing craft here that we're going to add to the guys that are returning from over here. Oh, no, you're probably, okay, you're going to, head back home. And that will be some more landing craft, so we can get another couple of divisions, hopefully, on board for landing there. And if whenever you watch, you have questions, I will likely do some talks in the future. You can always post your questions or comments or something. And I will address them in the future sometime if you want to. Okay. So motorized HQs, so we're going to leave that. Okay, electronic computing machines. Okay, allows proximity fuses research and gyro sites advance. Okay, so artillery. Proximity fuse. Yes, we will do that immediately. Only do know we can do some of the other. That's too far. Continue that. Sites or wait on that. We can wait on that a bit. Proximity fuse. That was developed first during World War II, I believe, by the Americans. And I know the British worked on a radar, but I don't think they did any proximity fuse work. The Allies, particularly the Americans, but the Allies were very worried that the technology would get out because it was such a revolutionary thing to come up. And I guess you all know, I'm going to say anyways, just in case somebody knows, proximity fuse is a sensor put on a projectile, a warhead, artillery round, could be an anti-aircraft artillery round. That when it gets near, I think it's generally the magnetic signature of a metal object. It gets close enough to it that it realizes there, and then it detonates. I believe that's how it works. As you can tell, I'm not an expert, but so where before there's a whole lot of stuff going on that most of the major nations had timed fuses, whether for indirect artillery, standard artillery guns, or like particularly anti-aircraft artillery, and particularly like in larger calibers, but they had timed fuses that could be set, immediately before shooting. Generally, they'd have a machine that you would sort of dip the nose of the round into, and would set it for however many seconds or parts of a second before it would detonate. So if you knew the range, like the altitude and range and whatnot of your target, and how long it was going to take to get there, you could blow it up. And it's generally better to do that either, whether again for anti-aircraft or for even ground targets, because if you can blow up a round in the air, you're going to have much. And they were doing this in World War One. And they were doing this in the 18th century too. Realize that, because they would try to time their fuses for whether for a howitzer or a mortar. Those are the two types in the 18th century that used a hollow-filled cannons a little bit, but not really. Mostly howitzers and mortars. They would put a fuse timer on it to try to have it blow up in the air to spew fragments down onto the ground. So this goes all the way back well into the 18th century. So it's not, a timed fuse is not anything new. The effectiveness improved. And so that was very effective. But it takes, a lot of effort, and especially for an anti-aircraft one, it has to constantly being adjusted as the aircraft getting closer, and there's a lot of elements going into it. Well, they were, I don't know if panicked is the right term, but they were maybe paranoid level of concern over the proximity, that even that proximity fuses existed. They, to the best of my knowledge, they did not deploy any proximity fuses to the European theater of operations outside of Britain, because they were afraid that a dud round or something like that would get into, or I guess with a Battle of the Bulge type situation, overrunning of some American forces, the Germans would capture some and be able to put them into service. So they did bring them into Britain to shoot down things like the V1 missiles that are coming in, and they also put them on most American ships, destroyers, battleships, cruisers, whatnot, aircraft carriers. The smallest size they could put them on during that time, I know modern ones are smaller now, but that time was a 40 millimeter round, so 40 millimeters and up. And what they called them was a variable timed fuse. They knew what proximity fuses were, there, but they didn't even tell the soldiers. And I'm not sure I'm not sure on the drills, and I've looked into some things fairly deeply. I finally found, I spent months, I mean, not like 24/7, but I spent months looking around for information on, and I know this is an aside here, but just about all of the major nations needed oxygen for their pilots because they were flying at such high altitudes. Not air, but oxygen. So they needed oxygen. And I spent a long time, and I finally found one thing, and I didn't order the book, but there was a couple of stills, page captures I got from it. But trying to find out about the machines, at least that the Americans used, to separate, basically it's nitrogen, but separate the rest of the air from the oxygen, to have, in essence, an oxygen concentrator. And and they needed it everywhere because so many of the aircraft were flying high enough. Even subs had oxygen tanks on them, pure oxygen, to supplement the oxygen levels that they had. And so it took me a long time, and there is very, very little information out there on these units that for the Army Air Corps, particularly. And they fairly highly trained soldiers that ran these things, because everywhere needed them. Whether you were, North Africa or Britain or coming in. So they had up in the, fairly forward, trailers at air bases that was creating, oxygen and then loading it in, because we see trucks, carrying bombs and fuel trucks out there refueling the aircraft. Well, they also had to refuel these, the oxygen containers on the aircraft. So they had them at the significant air bases. Not maybe every air base had one. I'm not saying that, but they had to be fairly up near the front, and then large cylinders, about 4 feet high, about 8 inches around is what the oxygen is stored in. And I saw one photo, because I have just 2 or 3 photos in this thing of this thing. One, empty cylinders or whatever it said, and a bunch of them stacked there. And then I didn't see a sign. I presume the other ones were full, so that a truck would probably show up and load a bunch of these and take them to whatever the other regional airfields were. So trying to dig out information like that, at least online, was very difficult. There's very little written about how they maintained the oxygen for the air units in the field. And the Germans had to do this too. The British had to do all this because they were flying at altitudes too high for even just air. You had to have oxygen feeding in there. Now, there's a lot of stuff I found about the systems on the aircraft, whether they're a constant flow system for oxygen or a varying flow system depending on need and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff on the aircraft, but there was very little logistics support. So these variable time fuses, I know this is where we started out, this sort of aside. I don't know whether they were still dipping that fuse into the timing device or not. I don't know the drill for it, but they call them a variable timed fuse because they did not even want the sailors on the ships, like, hey, well, maybe if you're captured, you might spout out the words proximity fuse, and the enemies, Japanese in this case, would find out that they were using proximity fuses. So at least most of the gunners and operators did not know the anti-aircraft rounds that they were putting out were proximity fuses. They called them variable time fuses. I'm not saying nobody knew, but most of the gunners did not. That's how paranoid they were And there's not a likelihood that the Japanese are going to pick up a failed to detonate round from, an anti-aircraft round from a ship fired out there. But it's possible that they could have. Ooh, we see a motor torpedo. Oh, but that's just a motor torpedo. But, I was wondering if there's an invasion coming for Guam. But it doesn't look like it, no. But, I guess we don't need a leader. Let's put naval strike. You should be up here as air intercept. If you see any enemy air, you should also be up here as air intercept in case you see any air. Yes, you can have metal, or okay, we're going to let that continue. Okay, HMS Warspite is lost. So the British lost a major surface combatant. All of their stupid invasions. This problem, we've been seeing a bunch of invasions here, had been a problem of Britain for a long time until their finest hour came out, and then their overreaction to it. But we're now seeing maybe it doesn't cover Spain. I don't know. And we can see here we're going to retreat because we don't have any organization, and somehow the Italians are maintaining supply, and we are not, and I don't know why that is happening. Oh, the encryption machine lost it for a moment. Okay, stop that. Keep them from reading our mail, as it were. Let's. Most of these are 33 technology, or 43 technology, sorry, which are what we should be doing, but I think we're going to. No, I think we'll start coming over here and doing some of these. Where's destroyer crew? We want to do destroyer crew. They're already pushing us back here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to retreat back here. We're going to retreat back to here. Once we get back to here, I think we're going to try to pull these guys out. That's why I've kept them here. We may move into Saudi Arabia to try to keep Saudi Arabia alive from being invaded. Okay, submarine classes have advanced. Very nice. Grayed out. Acoustic. Okay, we could do that. Red HQs. Well, looks like we took out a German submarine. Very good. Yes, you can have energy Belgium. And the government in exile of Belgium. Oh, there's a battleship. The Tirpitz is out. Tirpitz is out at sea with a fairly large stack of. Okay, you might have been a problem if you found them. Okay, we're going to put you out here, patrol. We can do passively this. But you, we got some battleships here, so let's do a move order here. If you can catch that, don't know how fast that's going. It may have a bunch of slow transports with it. 20. Oh, wait a minute. We're already in combat with some submarines. It's not really what I wanted to do. I wanted to get those battleships sunk. Whatever it is they're transporting. Figuring troops. Keep wrath inconclusive. Okay, they're down here. Keep going. Keep moving. Yep. Catch up. Okay, Eastern Bank. Okay, the Tirpitz, and then troop transports. Some basic ones, the Robert Lay, that's similar to the Wilhelm Gustloff cruise ship. Uh, okay, well, let's see, they're heading back, it looks like, so let's move that way. Okay, another battle. If I can take the Tirpitz out, and I'm presuming there's, okay, presuming there's more than just, okay, I think I'm killing troops as well as killing, no, as well as killing the troop transports. He's going back. Okay. Damn. All right. Come back. We're winning some battles. Okay, he's going up here. Um, looks like that way. On us here. So what we want to do here is move both of these units off the coast here. I think if I can evacuate out to the sea, that'll be good. A lot faster than he was before because maybe we've taken out some of his lower vessels. I think he's going this way. Him. Yeah, he's moving a lot faster than he was. I think he's heading up this way. We'll keep going for the moment. Okay, so these guys are off. Can we evacuate out to the sea here? No. It's those maybe. Okay, civil defense advances. Very nice. That is donation, and we'll let that continue. Deny, but okay, head back there. Well, at least we took out some of the transports. Fine mercenary unit, not now. Okay, small warship damage control. Yeah, we want you not to sink, so that's good. Yeah, it's too far advanced. We'll do fire control now, so you actually sink other ships. Yes. Now, can you guys? No, I'm still defending here. Oh, good. We had a little battle out in the Red Sea, and we took out 4 long-range submarines. Very nice. And they damaged us a bit. Yeah, it's British. There. Well, okay, I think we're going to end this episode here. I want to thank you all who made it this far. Where are you guys going? No, no. I don't want you to go over here. I want you to come over to here. Rebase to here. We're going to pick up a new, some more stuff and do another invasion. So thank you, everyone. I do appreciate it. If you have, like I say, haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I will see you next time with more, yes, more Hearts of Iron.